I know you've seen them before. Bands. They are cheap. They are everywhere. They are portable. There are so many different kinds of bands, and more bands. Well, sounds pretty good, right? But how do they work? Are they better than free weights and dumbbells or maybe machines? Well, what should I be doing? What kind of bands should I be using? And how do I use them? Well, I'm Coach Cassandra. I'm going to answer all these questions and more, so stay tuned. Coach Cassandra here. Welcome to another video. All right, so let's talk first about the very basics of how to build muscle. It requires tension or resistance. You can create tension in your muscle by simply lifting a child, a tool like dumbbells or machines, or even resistance bands. Now, with tools such as children and dumbbells, the resistance is coming from gravity and the weight itself. It's constant, it doesn't change. And as you get stronger, you up your weight, and once you get stronger again, you up your weight again. Now, bands provide something called linear variable resistance, meaning the band's weight increases as you stretch the band, as you stretch it. As you stretch it further, it gets harder and harder to stretch it, and the tension increases. The tension is coming from the band itself rather than gravity. Now, how can this be helpful to building muscle? Well, let's think about a bicep curl. If you are curling a heavy weight, the very beginning of the move might be the most difficult for you. But once you get past that sticky point, it's kind of doable, right? So you might be doing like a little cheat swing to get it started. Well, now let's think about the very top of the curl. You probably don't feel as much resistance anymore because, well, you reach the top and the weight is stacked on your joints. Well, okay, let's compare that to the bicep curl with the resistance band. At the bottom and beginning of the bicep curl, there's not much tension because the band isn't being stretched. So it knocks out that sticky point. As you move past where that sticky point usually is, the weight increases and is still increasing even at the top of the curl because the band is stretching. You can feel the tension throughout the entire range of motion. That's huge, guys. Now, there are quite a few bands out there on the market. How do you know what to get? There's these little tube bands with handles. These guys with handles. There's flat circle bands like these, flat and circle. There's these smaller ones that are loop and thin, very thin, and they come in all sorts of different colors and tensions. And then there's these flat ones that are thinner, that are smaller. So which one do I get? So first let's talk about tube bands. Now, tube bands have these little handles on the edge of them, which are great and can be a little bit more of a comfortable experience. You can get lighter tension bands to heavier tension bands. You can even get some that have interchangeable tubes so that you can increase the tension or decrease the tension. Now, these are great for first timers as they give you the look and the feel of dumbbells because of the handles. Now, these flat circle bands are essentially the same thing as tube bands. They work the same way, but they are a bit heavier duty and clearly a different shape. Again, you can get different sizes and tensions. This one's thicker and harder than this one here. They can be more versatile in the exercises you do, and they can also really help you work on your grip strength because, not everything that you're going to touch in this world has a handle on them. Now, they also tend to be a bit safer when they're breaking. A tube will literally just snap when it comes to breaking point. These circle bands are made in very thin layers that are stacked on top of each other. So when one layer starts to give out, you'll hopefully notice that tear and you can stop using it before it literally snaps on you. They are also a great tool when it comes to stretching. Lastly, there are these smaller loop bands. These are great for physical therapy, so you might see them in a physical therapy office, but you'll also see them in a fitness class. They have really gained popularity for work on the glutes and the hips, so you might hear them being called booty bands. Some of these come in a variety of resistances, so you can get light to medium to heavy. And you can also find some that are thicker and made of fabric and have some grip on them so that they don't bunch or slide around as much. Now, why should you be using resistance bands? Well, Johns Hopkins Medicine actually recommends resistance bands as one of the safest methods to increase bone strength and prevent osteoporosis. So these guys are great for older adults. Bands also help athletes for movement in every plane, both to improve strength and power, as well as to prevent injuries. You can take them with you when you travel, and they don't take up a lot of space in your home gym. And as we talked about earlier with muscle building, it's a different way of building muscle. Bodybuilders actually tend to switch around between using free weights and using resistance bands. So which band is right for you? Well, as you could probably guess, it depends on you and what you are working on. A variety of bands really don't cost that much, and they probably cost less than your gym membership, so it's not a bad investment. Try some out and find out which one challenges you and which one is the most comfortable. They really are a great tool to have handy. Now, if you want to support my channel, click that like button down below and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Coming up next, we will take a deep dive into the bicep curl. See you later.